Good morning, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, and all of Central Alabama. You're watching the CBS42 Morning News.
Good morning, everyone. Happy Saturday to you all. Thanks so much for starting your weekend off here with us. And tongue twister, Michael. Pick it up for me.
It happens.
CBS42 Morning News Weekend. We love you guys for joining us, and we have so much to get to. We have news, we have weather, we have sports, but let's start off with you, Michael.
All right, let's do it. Did you notice how warm it was yesterday?
I did.
78 degrees.
Yeah.
Broke a new record yesterday at Birmingham Shuttlesworth International. This morning, we've got the fog to talk about. Live look at Gadsden, where the visibility is down to 2 miles or less. We've got a dense fog advisory across most of central Alabama. Okay, in fact, Gadsden, you can't see hardly at all right now. 0 mile visibility. Same story, Double Springs and Jasper. So low beam headlights. Take your time, extra drive time this morning. And here's a look at that dense fog advisory through 9 o'clock this morning. So those low clouds and fog are with us. Temperatures not too shabby for this time of year, starting out in the 40s and 50s. Here's a look at what you'll need to know as you get up and go on this Saturday morning. Mainly cloudy as we kick it off. Some breaks in the clouds mid-morning. Temperatures getting to the mid-60s. Not done climbing. We're going to make a run for the low to maybe middle 70s later on this afternoon. I'll have more on the forecast, including a look at my Storm Track 7-day forecast in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you so much, Michael. Developing now, the man elected to be Jefferson County's district attorney is accused of first-degree perjury just days before he's due to be sworn into office. Charles Todd Henderson will now have to answer to a felony charge related to the accusations of perjury. Now, Henderson's attorneys say for this charge, this charge is actually politically motivated. Henderson's being charged with perjury for allegedly giving false statement material to a family court judge in September. Henderson is the first Democrat elected to be Jefferson County's DA in more than 3 decades. Now, if convicted, Henderson could face up to 10 years in prison and a $15,000 fine. He said through his attorneys that he looks forward to his day in court. We, of course, will be watching that for all of you. Moving our attention now to this story. The fire chief of the Mount Olive Fire Department in East Alabama died in a car crash in Calhoun County. This is what we know. 44-year-old Tracy Sanders, who you see pictured there, was killed when a tractor hit her Ford pickup truck. Sanders was taken to Regional Medical Center in Anniston, where she later died. The driver of the tractor was not hurt. We know the crash happened on Alabama State Highway 77. State troopers are investigating. Well, meanwhile, a new report shows the driving in the U.S. actually is becoming increasingly more dangerous. According to government estimates, the U.S. has seen the largest leap in motor vehicle deaths in 50 years. In the first 9 months of 2016, the Department of Transportation estimates nearly 28,000 people died in car crashes. This is an 8% increase from 2015. Now, some experts have suggested that distracted driving and warmer weather could be to blame. Talladega College is defending its decision to send their marching band to Washington, D.C. to perform in President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration parade. The marching tornadoes are being reassured by their college president, Billy Hawkins, who says that the band will have a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to march down Pennsylvania Avenue. Right now, the marching tornadoes are holding their last-minute practices before heading to the Capitol.
We don't view this as a political event. But we view this as a civic ceremony, an opportunity for our students to observe the process of the transition of power.
Now, this decision comes after criticisms toward the college, including threats and calls for the president to step down. Now, a GoFundMe page is raising money to support the band's efforts, and we actually checked that GoFundMe about an hour ago. And so far, the band has raised just over $349,000. Their goal was to reach $75,000. Now, this, of course, will help out with the band's travel, lodging, and other expenses as well. We actually have a link to that GoFundMe page on our website, WYAT.com, if you want to donate some money. Just type in marching tornadoes in the search bar. New this morning, a leading Democratic congressman is questioning Donald Trump's presidency, all while Republicans work to undo the signature legislation of his predecessor. CBS's Craig Boswell has the latest from Capitol Hill.
Congressman and civil rights icon John Lewis of Georgia has made the strongest public statement yet against President-elect Donald Trump in an interview with NBC.
I don't see this president-elect as a legitimate president.
Congressman Lewis blamed Russia for influencing the election. Lewis says he's skipping the inauguration next Friday. At least 7 other Democrats aren't going either.
I will be at home in Arizona.
Republicans in Congress made their first move to dismantle President Obama's signature achievement, the Affordable Care Act.
The House passed a budget resolution by a near party line vote. It allows for Republican-led committees to begin work on legislation to repeal parts of Obamacare and to do so without the help of Democrats.
If you mess with the ACA, it directly impacts Medicare.
This is a critical first step toward delivering relief to Americans who are struggling under this law.
Mr. Trump tweeted earlier Friday, the Unaffordable Care Act will soon be history. President-elect Trump is expected to be in Washington on Monday, where preparations for the inauguration are underway. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Well, a practice for the inauguration is planned for tomorrow. All eyes will be on that. New this morning. Turning our attention now to Birmingham. Police Chief A.C. Roper and task force officers made a big bust this week in West Birmingham. They made 4 arrests and recovered 5 guns. 2 of those guns were stolen. They also recovered cocaine, and 1 suspect was taken into custody after a foot chase. Charges are now pending for the suspects. New this morning, the Department of Justice releases a scathing report on Chicago police conduct and training. In a key finding, it shows that the Chicago Police Department actually has routinely violated the constitutional rights of citizens for years in numerous ways. Here's CBS's Dean Reynolds with an in-depth look at that report.
60 shots in the cover-up.
The Justice Department probe was launched amid an uproar over the killing of a black youth by a white Chicago cop who fired 16 times because he said the 17-year-old was a threat. It's the kind of excessive force that today's report suggests was a pattern or practice going back decades that included civil rights violations, racial bias, and deficient training of officers. A practice, the report said, that unnecessarily endangers themselves and others and that results in unnecessary and avoidable shootings. The scathing report found deep distrust within the very crime-ridden neighborhoods from which police need the most cooperation to be effective. It also showed police use force almost 10 times more often against blacks than against whites. Attorney General Loretta Lynch.
All of these issues are compounded by poor supervision and oversight, leading to low officer morale and an erosion in officer accountability.
The city will now engage in negotiations on what's called a consent decree to work out the improvements the Justice Department is seeking. Chicago Mayor Rahm Emanuel.
This is a moment of truth for the city. That this is not going to be changed. It's going to be done overnight. So we're on the road to reform. There's no U-turn in that.
The Chicago report comes a day after an agreement to reform the Baltimore police, one of 25 departments nationwide investigated during the Obama administration.
But the future of these investigations is now in some doubt. Jeff Sessions, the nominee to be the next Attorney General, has indicated he dislikes consent decrees because he said they malign entire departments because of the actions of a few bad officers. Dean Reynolds, CBS News, Chicago.
Right now, new suicide prevention measures are coming to prisons here in Alabama. The decision comes after an inmate killed himself after testifying about the lack of psychiatric care in state prisons. The Alabama Department of Corrections and attorneys for inmates reached a settlement on Thursday. The prison system agreed to keep a licensed mental health professional on staff at each facility. They will also provide constant monitoring to inmates at risk for suicide. The cause of a deadly fire in Lee County that killed 3 children is under investigation. The fire at this mobile home park in Opelika started Thursday afternoon. We know 5 children ranging in age from 3 to 11 years old were inside. 3 of them died in that fire. 2 are being treated at Children's of Alabama. They're in critical condition. We, of course, are going to follow that story, so stay with us for the latest developments. Your time right now, it is 5:09. As lawmakers work to repeal Obamacare, there are some concerns about how it will affect us here in Alabama. After the break, we take a closer look at changes with CVS Pharmacy, plus information to save you money on prescriptions. Michael?
Good Saturday morning to you, Central Alabama. A live look at McFarland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. Visibility is down to less than a mile. We're going to talk about the fog and the rest of our weekend forecast straight ahead.
You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Good Saturday morning to you, Central Alabama. What a difference a week makes. Last week it was snow, ice, not this morning. We're talking about dense fog and pretty mild temperatures. Dense fog advisory through 9 o'clock this morning for the counties shaded in gray, including Gadsden, Birmingham, Coleman, Double Springs, Tuscaloosa. Low beam headlights, give yourself extra drive time early this morning. In fact, the visibility is down to 0 right now. Gadsden, 1 mile. Coleman, 0 in T-Town. Birmingham, 10-mile visibility, so pretty good here in the metro area. Temperatures, upper 40s, lower 50s as we kick off our Saturday morning. Going to make a run for the low to mid 60s by 10 o'clock this morning with a mix of sun and clouds. Lower 70s later on this afternoon. Yesterday we broke a record of 78 degrees. I don't think we're going to see any record-breaking warmth today, but it will be warm across central Alabama. Just to the north, 47 in Nashville, 29 in Oklahoma City. A pretty massive winter storm across parts of the Midwest, down into Oklahoma and Kansas. In fact, I want to show you this massive storm and the problems it's causing in Wichita, Kansas. One woman found herself in a 22 car pileup, estimated I should say, as she attempted her drive into work. It seems to have been part of a chain reaction as a truck was sideswiped. According to the Wichita police, there were only minor injuries. Freezing rain and sleet continue to fall across this part of the country, where all forms of travel will continue to be not only dangerous, but also a challenge, to say the least. Oh, yikes.
Not a good situation
we
there.
kind of know the sights of that right here at home.
Absolutely. Yes, we do.
No fun.
Not at all. All right, let's turn our attention to this. As lawmakers move forward with the first steps to repeal the Affordable Care Act, there are questions about what it could mean for people here in Alabama. Now, one big concern is the recent announcement that CVS pharmacies will no longer be partnering with Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama for some plans. The announcement affects about 400,000 people. Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama and Prime Therapeutics is offering a new pharmacy network that will affect small businesses and individuals who are currently uninsured, actually, under the Affordable Care Act. CVS is not an option in these cases. Here's what one local pharmacy owner says about the changes.
We're receiving a lot of phone calls right now about that, so it's definitely keeping us busy, but we've got plenty of staff, so we're ready for it.
Well, a CVS spokesperson says they will continue to accept all commercial plans offered by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama. And if you have any questions, you can ask your local CVS pharmacy. They'll be happy to answer those for you. A Blue Cross Blue Shield statement said the new pharmacy networks were made to offset the continuous rise in prescription drug costs and provide their customers the best medication for the price. Now, speaking of medications, last May, the CBS42 investigative team shopped around to find the best pharmacy prices for your prescription drugs. And here's what we found. We called 4 pharmacies in the Birmingham area to compare how much they charge for the generic brand of the cholesterol-reducing drug Lipitor before a copay. At Walgreens, it was priced at $41.99. Well, then, our Jamie Langley called Walmart, which values itself as the place to roll back prices. At their pharmacy, the drug is priced at $30. And here's what we found at Publix's pharmacy. The drug rang up to $92.95. Now, the smartphone app GoodRx will help you find the lowest cost pharmacy and provide a printable discount card, right? If we can save some money, always a good thing. You can learn more about that app and find much more on ways that you can save on your prescription drugs by going to our website, WIAT.com, click on news and then links. Happening today, Walmart and Sam's Club are teaming up to offer free health screenings in 144 stores throughout the state of Alabama. The program offers people a free, simple way to get body fat readings and test for body mass index. Now, the screenings will take place at Sam's Clubs between 11 a.m. and 4 p.m. today, and Walmart will be offering them between 10 a.m. and 2 p.m. So tons of time for people to get out and focus on their health, right? And speaking of health, right now, St. Vincent's Health System plans to open a new location in Trussville. The facility will include primary care services, urgent care, physical therapy, and outpatient services. The new site will be more than 31,000 square feet. Construction will begin soon at the site on Happy Hollow Road. St. Vincent's plans actually to open it by the fall of this year.
Takata has admitted to a scheme to defraud its customers by manipulating test data regarding the performance of its airbag inflators.
3 former Takata executives have been indicted for allegedly covering up the company's airbag problems. Federal investigators say Takata knew about the potentially deadly issues with its airbags as far back as the year 2000. We're talking 16, 17 years ago. Takata agreed to plead guilty to a single criminal charge and will pay $1 billion in fines and restitution. Takata will also pay $25 million in criminal fines and millions more to people who were injured by the airbags, as well as automakers that purchased the inflators. Takata executives are accused of putting profit ahead of safety.
These 3 Takata executives routinely discussed in email messages the need to falsify reports to its customers. They referred in their emails to this process as Xing the data.
Well, according to court documents in 2005, one executive emailed the other to say they had no choice but to manipulate the data. The defect has killed 11 people in the U.S. Takata is expected to be sold to another auto supplier or investor sometime this year. We'll be watching that. And well, we also have another recall to tell you about this morning. Golden Flake is recalling a popular chip flavor because it contains dairy ingredients not labeled on the bag. Now, the recall affects the 5-ounce bags of the hot thin and crispy chips. The company says people who are allergic to milk could have a reaction to the product. You can return the chips to the store for a full refund or exchange. I know a lot of people love Golden Flakes. Well, in consumer news this morning, problems continue to mount for Wells Fargo. The bank says it plans to shut down more than 400 branches by the end of 2018. They say the closures have nothing to do with the fake account scandal, but Wall Street analysts disagree, saying the scandal is likely forcing Wells Fargo to look hard at expenses. Rivals Chase and Bank of America have both closed at least 9% of their branches since 2012. Happening today, if you've always wanted to sing and go to Dollywood, well, guess what? You're in luck, because auditions to become a vocalist at the popular theme park are coming right here to Birmingham. If you are a singer and looking for your big break, you can try out at the Virginia Sanford Theater today. Amber Davis from Dollywood says several entertainers from Alabama have launched their music careers by starting out on the Dollywood stage. Davis says they're looking for a variety of talent.
Don't assume, okay, well, it's Dollywood, so they're looking for country.
Right.
We want you to come prepared to sing what you sing best, whatever genre that may be. I mean, we'd love to hear from you if you are good at pop, if you do musical theater. You know, country, of course, is great, but really any kind of genre. We do all kinds of entertaining at Dollywood.
Ooh, looks like a whole lot of fun. Love the stage. Birmingham tryouts will be this morning at the Virginia Sanford Theater, and we've posted a link on our website, WIAT.com, for more information. All right, your time right now, it is 5:21, and the circus is fun for all ages, but it's extra special for one lady. Stay with us, because after the break, we introduce you to the Florida woman making big strides in 2017. You're watching CBS 42 Morning News, live look over Birmingham as we wake you up on this Saturday morning. We'll be right back. Welcome back, everyone. New this morning, for the first time in the history of Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus, a female ringmaster is running the show. Here's a look at the Florida woman who made her circus dream a reality.
Ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, welcome to Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey presents Circus Extreme.
No!
Michelle Wilson plays the role so naturally. The fact that she's a woman doesn't even come to mind.
This is not a gender-specific role. This is all about being strong and being in command.
But it took Ringling 146 years to cast a nationwide search for a ringmaster that included women. The opportunity fell right in Wilson's lap.
And I just said, I have to throw my hat in the ring. You know, an opportunity like this comes along, you go for it.
Originally from Tallahassee, Florida, Wilson spent much of the last decade in Orlando, performing in any way she could.
I was a television news reporter, a summer camp counselor. I've taught dance. I was a videographer. I filmed weddings and county commission meetings.
But this one is the dream job, and Wilson thinks it sends an even bigger message.
That we can do anything. Women are phenomenal and capable and strong.
Love that. And she used to be in our business.
Yeah.
Look at that.
Good for her.
Yeah.
Well done.
Awesome. All right, well, let's look at the weather, Michael, because you know what? As you said earlier, leaving my house this morning, I had on sneakers and like a little vest, and that was it.
It's kind of flip-flop weather,
Yeah.
literally. We've got fog in place early this morning, so as you navigate around central Alabama, heads up, it is downright foggy. Here's a live look at McFarland Boulevard in Tuscaloosa. Visibility down to a mile or less. Dense fog advisory in place through 9 o'clock this morning. It includes Gadsden, Birmingham, Double Springs, Jasper, Tuscaloosa, and here's a look at the visibility. What you can see, what you can't see. It's pretty decent in Birmingham. We can see 10 miles out from the airport, but you can't see anything, not even a mile out in Coleman, Double Springs, Jasper, visibility 5 miles in Tuscaloosa. So low beam headlights, extra drive time early this morning. Temperatures, okay, we're above average. We should be starting out right around 34, 33. We'll take 53 in Birmingham. Good morning to you, Double Springs at 52, 49 in Jasper, 48 right now in Tuscaloosa. Storm track radar over the last 12 hours, a few light showers overnight into this morning. Those are pretty much done and over with. However, the fog's going to hang tight through at least 9 o'clock this morning. And then we're going to see some sunshine and temperatures rebound back into the 70s. Yesterday, we made it up to 78 at Birmingham Shuttlesworth. That was a new record high for the date. Okay, if you have travel plans, check ahead before you check in. A big ice storm from St. Louis into parts of Oklahoma and Texas on the northern fringe. Winter storm warnings in place for a lot of snow. No snow for us. A break from that winter weather, feeling more like spring. Forecasting a high of 74 today, lower 70s tomorrow. A chance of rain back in the forecast Tuesday through next Friday. High temperatures in the 70s and 60s. Alex?
Thank you so much, Michael. Your time right now, it is 5:27. After the break, there are new breaking developments in the Tamir Rice case in Cleveland, Ohio. Coming up, what 2 officers are now facing, plus how Rice's mother is reacting. You're watching CBS 42 Morning News. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, and all of Central Alabama. You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for waking up with us here on CBS 42 Morning News Weekend. We love having you guys every Saturday and Sunday. And as always, every half hour, we kick it off with Michael Smith over here, who's going to give us a look at our forecast.
I am.
How you doing?
I'm doing like this, 2 thumbs up.
Moving
Anything
and
is
grooving.
better than last weekend.
Yes.
And I might say it a few times throughout the morning. All right. We do have some fog to talk about early this morning. Temperature's pretty mild. Live look from our tower cam as we check out the Magic City. Sun up at 6:52. Visibility pretty good here in Birmingham. That's not the case elsewhere. In fact, big old fat goose egg. You can't see hardly a mile ahead in Jasper, Double Springs, Coleman, Gadsden. Visibility is 1 mile. Same deal in Hamilton, Tuscaloosa, 5 miles. Birmingham, we've got 10 miles of visibility. So, dense fog advisory in place for the county, shaded in gray through 9 o'clock this morning. Low beams, use them and give yourself extra drive time. We're starting off with temperatures in the 40s and 50s, 53 right now in Birmingham. So as we head through the morning and into the afternoon, we're going to get out of the 50s, back into the 60s by, I'd say, at least 10 or 11 this morning, close to 70, if not at least 70 by 12 o'clock this afternoon, and highs top out right around 73. Travel plans, I just want to point this out. There is a massive winter storm. It's a double-sided storm on the southern fringe. Ice storm warnings from St. Louis, Kansas City, back to Oklahoma City on the northern fringe. A lot of snow, so check ahead if you have travel plans today. I'll be back in a few minutes with a look at my Storm Track 7-day forecast.
Thanks, Michael. Breaking overnight, 2 Cleveland police officers involved in the 2014 deadly shooting of 12-year-old Tamir Rice now face administrative charges. These charges could lead to what we know is that the officers could be suspended or could lose their jobs. The officer who actually shot Rice does not face administrative charges, but is accused of providing false information on his job application. But the 2 other officers are facing several charges each.
Now we start the hearing process for the officers to give them their due process for the violations that have been outlined in all of those reports.
We definitely want Timothy Loman and Frank Granbeck fired. They don't need to be no police officers terrorizing the city.
Rice's family recently settled a civil lawsuit with the city for $6 million. Tamir was shot back in 2014 after police responded to a report of a person with a gun at a park. The gun turned out to be an airsoft pistol. New this morning, next week is expected to be even busier in the nation's capital. CBS's congressional correspondent Alex Schumann breaks down what's ahead for the incoming Trump administration in this week's Capitol Edge. This is a story you're only going to see right here on CBS 42.
President-elect Trump's cabinet picks will continue their confirmation hearings on Capitol Hill next week.
This allegation is that the agency itself has become politicized. Do you believe that?
I have my experience is that I have not seen that.
Betsy DeVos, a Michigan billionaire nominated to be Secretary of Education, could be one of the most controversial hearings of the week. That's set for Tuesday.
No to DeVos! President-elect Trump should not be expected to destroy the company he built.
The Ethics Office. House Republicans are demanding the head of the Ethics Office come before the House Oversight Committee after he called Trump's plan to separate himself from his business meaningless.
The only one that cares about my tax returns are the reporters, okay? They're the only ones. But no, I don't think so. I won. I mean, I became president.
The biggest moment of the week will, of course, be when Donald Trump takes the oath of office on Friday. The Senate is planning to hold several votes that same day to finish confirming his cabinet members. The Senate Intelligence Committee says that they are going to continue investigating the Russian hacking of the Democratic National Committee, but they also say that they are not going to look into whether or not the Trump campaign was talking to officials in Moscow during the election. In Washington, I'm Alex Schumann, and that's your Capitol Edge.
New this morning, Attorney General Luther Strange announces victory for Alabama in an electronic bingo forfeiture case in Mobile County. That case was against the Choctaw Entertainment Center. Now, a Mobile Circuit Court agreed with the state that the band, they were operating illegal electronic bingo machines. They must now turn over 50 machines and more than $10,000. Well, meanwhile, a Calhoun County bingo hall is back open for business. It's been months since people played at I-20 Bingo in Hobson City. Managers of the I-20 Bingo say they're ready to go. The hall shut down in March, even though it's been operating out of the same building for years. New managers say it took nearly a year to put everything in place. The bingo hall expects between 50 and 70 people this opening weekend. A lot of them are returning customers.
It's a grueling process, and it can be very lengthy. First, you have to have a viable charity according to the Calhoun County Bingo Regulatory Commission, and then on top of having that, you have to go, if it's in a municipality, you have to go to that municipality first.
All right, well, I-20 Bingo supports the League for Animal Welfare as its charity. They'll be open Fridays through Sundays starting at 4 o'clock. Right now, police identify a woman suspected of stealing a car with a child inside. Now, all of this happened Wednesday morning at the Exxon station on Highway 25 in Montevallo. A mother got out to pump gas when two people stole her truck with her 3-year-old son inside at the time. Police found the car and the child about 5 minutes later. The child, thankfully, was not hurt. Now, police have identified Sarah Skodalski as the woman seen in the video. She's wanted on several charges, including theft of property and unlawful imprisonment. If you've seen her or you know where she could be, please call the Montevallo Police Department as soon as possible. And I want you to take a very close look at this picture. Oxford police are asking for your help in identifying these people seen here. They're wanted for stealing merchandise from the Bama Fever Tiger Pride store in Oxford. This was on Oxford Exchange Boulevard. If you recognize them, please call Oxford Police as soon as possible. A Walker County Volunteer Fire Department is dealing with the aftermath of a burglary. We're told that Richard Gardner is now considered a suspect in the case. Oakman Police Chief McKinsley Marbury got a call from a tipster early Thursday morning of some suspicious behavior near the volunteer fire station. A window is now boarded up after someone got inside and stole items the firefighters need to do their jobs.
This person was seen walking up the street empty-handed and walking back down the street with 3 bags in his hands.
Well, police are asking everyone in the community to keep an eye out for the missing property. If you see the property or you know who might have done this, please call police as soon as possible. Well, around Alabama this morning, a Decatur man has been charged with murder after police say he choked his roommate to death. 57-year-old Joe Nathan Gibson is accused of killing 54-year-old Thomas Peter Chase during a fight at their home Wednesday night. Investigators believe Chase died while he was being held in some sort of a chokehold or a headlock. Decatur police spokesman Lieutenant Proncy Robertson says both men may have been drunk at the time. This is Decatur's first homicide of the year. Gibson is facing up to life in prison. Well, your time right now, it is 5:39. All eyes on the White House. The White House, of course, is known for the president and the Oval Office, but pets also have their place. Still ahead, the question everyone has for Donald Trump and the woman who is an expert in presidential pets.
Good Saturday morning to you, Central Alabama. A live look right now at Gadsden, where the fog is pretty thick. Visibility down to a 1/4 mile. I'm going to have your complete weekend forecast right after this.
You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Good Saturday morning to you, Central Alabama. Another live look at Gadsden and US 441, where the fog has set up shop, visibility down to a mile right now in Gadsden. Less than that in Coleman. In fact, 0 mile visibility in Coleman. Same deal, Double Springs, Birmingham Metro. For the most part, looking good. 10-mile visibility in Birmingham, 10-mile visibility in Alabaster, down to 5, however, in T-Town. So, with that being said, dense fog advisory in place for the county, shaded and gray through 9 o'clock this morning. It's a pretty balmy morning considering where we were last week at this time with ice and the snow, and temperatures well above average. We should be starting out right around 34. It's 53 right now in Birmingham, 47 in Coleman, 48 in Gadsden, Tuscaloosa checking in at 48. So fog early this morning. It'll start to lift around 9 o'clock. Temperatures by 10. How about a pair of 6s? It'll feel very nice out, just like it did yesterday. Spring-like, in fact, with temperatures climbing into the lower 70s. To the north we go. It's 48 in Nashville, 25 Kansas City, 29 in Oklahoma City. A big winter storm continues to take shape in that part of the country. Storm Track 7-day forecast showing pretty decent weather through MLK Day, and then the rain is back Tuesday, Wednesday, into Thursday. Okay, this will serve as the final boarding call for Boeing's iconic 747 jetliner. United Airlines made the announcement yesterday and plans to have all of their Boeing 747s out of service and retired by October. Other airlines, including Delta, have plans to permanently land this well-known aircraft, with all remaining passenger airlines following suit shortly, leaving only charter airlines and Air Force One with the only 747s remaining in service. Final boarding call.
Absolutely. And what's your favorite airline, Michael?
Delta. I'm a Delta boy.
Absolutely. I knew that one. New this morning, some of the most popular tenants of the White House have not been presidents, but instead they've been their pets. And everyone is wondering if Donald Trump will have a presidential pet when he moves into the White House. CBS's Weijia Jiang introduces us to one Washington woman who has a real passion for pets.
Long before Beau and Sonny Obama stole our hearts, there was Barney Bush, and before that, Buddy and Socks the cat.
Over 400 animals went through the White House.
84-year-old Claire McLean became fascinated with them all after a lucky encounter with a presidential pooch named Lucky.
She was rambunctious and had a mind of her own. She was even pulling President Reagan in the Rose Garden.
McLean was an expert on the breed known as Bouvier de Flanders, so when the Reagans got a puppy in 1985, she was asked to groom it and secretly saved a souvenir.
I swept up the hair, put it in a brown paper bag, and snuck out of the White House with it.
Lucky inspired McLean's mother to paint this portrait. Yep, that's Lucky's hair. Then the painting inspired her. McLean started hunting for presidential pet memorabilia. In 1999, she had enough to open a museum in Maryland. Statues, books, vintage pictures, even a bell said to belong to President William Taft's milk cow.
It changed my life by giving me something to be very passionate about.
It's not just the animals she is drawn to, it's their role in U.S. history.
You can teach children and adults about the presidents of the United States and about the history of the country through the pets easier than you can through anything else.
Like the country, pets have changed over time. President Benjamin Harrison's grandchildren had a goat named Whiskers. Teddy Roosevelt had all sorts of pets, including exotic birds and a pony for his son Quentin. And who could forget Caroline Kennedy on her pony, Macaroni?
First families with pets makes people feel like they're just like us.
McLean wants to share the memories, but her museum closed 6 years ago. Now she's looking for a new curator who's as passionate about presidential pets. Weijia Jiang, CBS News, Washington.
Yes, absolutely. We love the president's pets, and the Presidential Pet Museum could soon have a new owner. A sale is in the final stages, but in the meantime, you can check out McLean's entire collection online. What a great story. Your time right now, it is 5:47. To this story after the break, the South Florida airport where 5 people were killed is slowly getting back to normal. What airport leaders say they've now started returning back to passengers.
Hey, good morning, everybody. 3 Tide players heading off to the NFL. These 3 guys will hear from our Darius Stewart on why he's foregoing his senior season coming up in sports.
You're watching CBS 42 Morning News. Live look over the New York City as we wake you up on this Saturday morning. We'll be right back.
Well, it's bye-bye Bama for 3 Tide stars yesterday. Marlon Humphrey and Cam Robinson, the obvious guys leaving. They both got first-round grades from scouts. But our Darius Stewart's decision is raising some eyebrows. He says he got a second-round grade from scouts, and pair that with a weak overall receiving class and a stellar season for the Fultondale native. He feels confident in his choice to forego his last year of college.
Just my name's just hot right now. That's all I can tell you. They're just telling me I have a great attitude about it, and that it is just time,
The Alabama football team has to wait until fall to start their quest to avenge their title game loss. Bama gymnastics already underway on their own revenge stories. The Tide last night hosting #1 LSU in Coleman Coliseum. Bama on the bars, Kiana Winston doing her best. She gets a 9.95 on the uneven bars. Bama would win the bars, but that's all they would win is Ashley Natt. This vault looks pretty darn good. In fact, it's a perfect 10 from the judges. LSU puts Bama at 0-2 to start the season. Tigers win. Meanwhile, 13th ranked Auburn hosting Georgia last night. Third rotation, Tigers trailing, and Emily Slappy makes everyone at Auburn slap happy with a 9.88 on the beam. And then MJ Rott comes through with a fresh floor routine. She scores a 9.95 career high for her, but it would not be enough last night as the Gym Dogs get the road win. Some high school hoops. Mountain Brook hosting Oak Mountain. We'll pick it up in the second quarter. Sean Elmore, the corner 3 ball, drills it, and the Spartans putting this one away early. And then right before the half, Pauly Stragmalia with the steal. And he's going to go down to the other end. He sees those tall guys. He's going to hand it out to his own tall guy. Trendon Wofford for the slam. The Spartans drub Oak Mountain 63-32. That's going to do it for sports. Let's send it back over to the desk.
As always, thank you, Chris. Your time right now, it is 5:52 after the break. A suspect breaks into a Walker County Fire Department and steals life-saving equipment. Coming up, what police say that person stole and what someone saw. We're bringing that to you right after the break here on CBS 42. We'll be right back.
Good Saturday morning to you, Central Alabama. A live look across the Magic City. We've got clouds overhead and some dense fog in some spots. The visibility good here in Birmingham, but that's not the case in Coleman, Double Springs, Hamilton, where the visibility is less than a mile. Same deal, Gadsden. So give yourself extra drive time this morning. Use the low beam headlights. Again, dense fog advisory in place for the county, shaded and gray through 9 o'clock this morning. Temperatures starting out pretty mild for this time of year in the upper 40s, lower 50s. I want to show you our futurecast as we head through the morning into the afternoon. Futurecast clouds, radar, and temperature. 10 o'clock this morning, going to start the clock. The cloud cover dissipates, so look forward to sunshine later on this afternoon. It's going to feel like spring. Yesterday we broke a record high at Birmingham Shuttlesworth International, topped out at 78. I don't think we're going to have any record-breaking heat today, but it's going to be pretty warm, well above our average high of this for this time of year, which is 51. Later on this evening, temperatures kind of hang out in the mid to upper 50s. Developing winter storm across parts of the southern plains, and it stretches north. Temperatures right now 8 below in Bismarck, 8 above Minneapolis, 29 Chicago, 48 just to the north in Nashville. So an ice storm continues to be in progress across this chunk of the country on the northern fringe. Winter storm warnings in place for heavy snow. Storm Track 7-day forecast right here at home showing a mix of sun and clouds. Temperatures staying well above average over the stretch of the next 7 days. The rain chance back at us Tuesday through next Friday. Alex.
Those warmer temperatures are looking so good. Thanks so much, Michael. Your time right now. It is 5:57. Jefferson County's newest district attorney is in big trouble just ahead of going into office. What Charles Henderson is accused of doing. We're bringing you that story and much more right after the break here on CBS 42. Stay with us.
Good morning, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, and all of Central Alabama. You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for starting your weekend off with us here on CBS 42 Morning News. Michael and I love when you tune in and watch us every weekend morning. We have so much to get to. We got news to cover. We've got sports. But as always, we start first with weather with Storm Track meteorologist Michael Smith,
yes,
the expert over here.
What a difference a week makes,
yes,
right? Feels like spring out. We've got
love
some
it.
fog this morning. I'll take that any day of the week compared to what had happened on Friday
See what
and
had
last
happened was.
Saturday, right? Okay, so live look across the Magic City. Visibility not bad. And Birmingham can see 9 miles out, but just up the road, up Interstate 65, look at that. 0 mile visibility. Coleman, same deal. Double Springs, Jasper, a mile at best. Hamilton, 2 miles. Fayette. So low beams and extra drive time. Dense fog advisory through 9 o'clock this morning for the county, shaded and gray. Temperatures mild for this time of year. Our average low temperature right around 34. We're starting out at 52 Birmingham, 48 in Tuscaloosa and Talladega. Elsewhere across the lower 48. This area of low pressure across parts of Arkansas is throwing up moisture out of the Gulf on top of some very cold air. So a big winter storm from, let's say, Chicago, Kansas City, Oklahoma City, Dallas, Little Rock to our north. Okay, that's not going to be an issue for us. Temperatures get back into the mid and upper 60s with a mix of sun and clouds by 10 o'clock this morning. Not done climbing. We're going to head for the lower 70s later on this afternoon. Quick check of my Storm Track 7-day forecast. The rain is back Tuesday through next Friday. Alex?
Looking good. Thanks so much, Michael. Developing now, the man set to become Jefferson County's district attorney will answer to a felony charge of his own. Charles Todd Henderson is accused of first-degree perjury. He's supposed to be sworn into office after the Martin Luther King Jr. holiday. And as CBS 42 News reporter Jamie Ostroff found out, his attorneys believe the charges being brought a business day earlier are politically motivated.
It's a perversion of process that cannot and will not stand, reads a statement from attorneys representing DA-elect Charles Henderson. It was released about an hour after he was booked into and released from the Jefferson County Jail Friday. Henderson is being charged with perjury for allegedly giving false statement material to a family court judge in September. The charges come just days before his swearing in and will more than likely keep him from serving in his elected position. The Attorney General's office in Montgomery seized the democratic process with this indictment, the statement goes on to say. They decided that votes don't matter. Henderson is the first Democrat elected to be Jefferson County's DA in more than 3 decades.
Well, Henderson could face up to 10 years in prison and a $15,000 fine if he's convicted. Henderson denies the charge. He says through his attorneys that he looks forward to his day in court. And of course, we will be watching that story very closely. New this morning, a volunteer fire department is mourning the loss of their chief. State troopers say 44-year-old Tracy Sanders died Friday afternoon when the truck she was driving collided with a tractor trailer. It happened on Highway 77 near Ohatchee. Sanders was the chief of the Mount Olive Fire Department in Ohatchee. Troopers are still investigating the crash. Continuing coverage this morning, a bingo hall opens its doors again in Calhoun County. I-20 Bingo in Hobson City shut down last March for many that may remember. Managers say the process to secure a valid bingo permit is complicated and took them nearly a year to put everything in place.
It's a grueling process, and it can be very lengthy. First, you have to have a viable charity according to the Calhoun County Bingo Regulatory Commission, and then on top of having that, you have to go, if it's in a municipality, you have to go to that municipality first.
The bingo hall also needed permits from the commission and the city. I-20 Bingo supports the League for Animal Welfare as its charity. They'll be open Fridays through Sundays starting at 4 o'clock, and managers tell us they expect between 50 and 70 people on opening weekend. New this morning, the officers involved in the shooting death of 12-year-old Tamir Rice face administrative charges. Rice died after being shot by Cleveland officers Timothy Lohman and Frank Garmbach. The officers thought Rice was armed, but it turned out to be an airsoft pistol. The officers were never indicted. Now they'll face charges ranging from fraudulent conduct to neglect of duties.
We definitely want Timothy Loman and Frank Granback fired. They don't need to be no police officers terrorizing the city.
The Rice family recently settled a civil lawsuit with the city for $6 million. A third officer, William Cunningham, faces charges for submitting a, quote, untruthful report on use of deadly force. New this morning, officials at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport, this is what they say. They're going to be returning around 90% of luggage and other items to travelers. We know thousands of people were forced to abandon their belongings after a deadly shooting at the airport earlier this month. The remaining items are being photographed and placed on a website for passenger identification. The website will launch next Wednesday. Yesterday, the Broward County Mayor and Broward County Aviation Department held a moment of reflection for the victims of that shooting attack. Officials say 26-year-old Esteban Santiago opened fire at the Terminal 2 baggage claim area. 5 people died and several others were hurt.
I also know that it has changed your lives forever, and that is why we stand here together in solidarity today. Those roses represent the 5 people who were killed for no apparent reason.
Santiago is being held without bond. He's charged with airport violence and firearms charges. He could face the death penalty if he's convicted. A former South Carolina deputy caught on camera tossing a student out of a desk at a high school will not face federal charges. State prosecutors are also not charging Ben Fields in the October 2015 incident. It happened after a female student refused to give up her cell phone. Well, Fields was fired days after the incident. The teen and the girl who filmed the incident were charged with disturbing school, but the charges were later dropped. Right now, a Walker County volunteer fire department is still recovering after a thief breaks into the station. Oakman Police Chief McKinsley Marbury says someone reported suspicious behavior near the station earlier on Thursday morning. The tipster saw a man walking up the street empty-handed before he walked back down the street with 3 bags in his hands. Police say the man ransacked the station, taking crucial items, including one piece of truck equipment that's worth more than $5,000.
Every time we think we're at the end, and they, as you can tell, they continue to walk through the building and something else does come up missing.
Officials say Richard Gardner is in custody on theft of property charges. They are still searching for some of the items. So if you find anything from the Oakman Fire Station, if you're in that area, please call police as soon as possible. Right now, Montevallo police are searching for a woman suspected of stealing a car with a child inside. Now, this happened Wednesday morning at the Exxon station on Highway 25. A mother was just pumping her gas when 2 people stole her truck with her 3-year-old son inside the car at the time. Police found the car and the child about 5 minutes later. We can report this morning that the boy is safe. Now, police believe Sarah Sklodowski, who you see here, is the woman in that video. She's wanted on several charges, including theft of property and unlawful imprisonment. If you know where she could be, please call Montevallo Police. New this morning, surveillance video captures a crime spree leading to the arrest of an 11-year-old boy. Police say the boy and his mother's 25-year-old boyfriend targeted several stores in Fitchburg, Wisconsin. Store managers at a pet supply store say the boy made off with $180 in cash before finally being caught.
We definitely don't come across 11-year-olds committing these sorts of crimes on a very regular basis. It's really unfortunate.
Police caught up with the boy at a nearby Walmart. They say he was carrying credit cards he stole from employees of the various stores. New this morning, flooded homes are bringing a new concern to people living in Hollister, California. Officials are knocking on doors and handing out water, warning them that their water could be contaminated. San Benito County workers say this week's heavy rain could have pushed sewage, pesticides, and anything else from nearby farms into the drinking water. There's no timeline on when the water will be safe to drink again. New this morning, new suicide prevention measures are coming to Alabama prisons. The decision follows the suicide of an inmate who testified about the lack of psychiatric care in state prisons. The Alabama Department of Corrections and attorneys for inmates reached a settlement on Thursday. Prisons will now keep a licensed mental health professional on staff at each facility. They'll also provide constant monitoring to inmates at risk of suicide. Well, your time right now, it is 6:10. Big news about benefits for some military veterans and their families. After the break, the new rules from the Obama administration after decades of water contamination. Hey, Michael.
Hey there, Alex, and hey to you at home. Thanks for joining us. A live look at Gadsden. We've got a blanket of thick fog in some spots. We'll pinpoint that for you and my Storm Track 7-day forecast right after this.
You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Good Saturday morning to you, Central Alabama. Live look as we check out Homewood and the sunrise in about 40 minutes or so, give or take. Now, it's all about location, location, location this morning. Some areas are just socked in with the fog. Case in point, Coleman, Double Springs, Jasper, Fayette, up to Gadsden, where the visibility is less than a mile in some areas. And here in Birmingham, we've got almost 10 miles of visibility, 9 in Alabaster. Dense fog advisory through 9 o'clock this morning for the areas shaded in gray. Temperatures off to a pretty mild start in the 40s and 50s. We're going to climb into the mid 60s by 10, and we're going to see some sunshine later on this afternoon with highs back in the lower 70s. Storm Track 7-day forecast showing more of a spring-like pattern through the next 7 days. The rain chance is back at us Tuesday, Wednesday, into Thursday of next week. Okay, where are we going this time? We're going to Sacramento, California, where winds from a storm earlier this week led to fences being knocked down. And with that being said, the dogs are running free. It's sending people to the First Street Animal Shelter in California to look for new furry friends, and the shelter has taken in more than 80 animals in just 3 days.
Wow.
Yeah, I know, wow on that, right? They're working to reunite pets and owners while trying to find space to help more lost animals Uh-oh in Sacramento.
You know who would love that story?
Who?
Your mom, because she loves
yes.
pets.
Yes, she does.
Specifically cats.
Uh-huh. Yes.
She would
Yes,
love
she
that
does.
one. New
Hi,
this
Mom.
morning. Hey, let's turn our attention to this. New this morning, a Wisconsin woman in need of a kidney is spreading the word wherever she goes. Kathy Storm has struggled with kidney issues since she was 10 years old. Last year, her condition grew worse. Now she does home dialysis every night while she sleeps. Storm and her husband are hoping to find a kidney donor by advertising the need on the back of both of their cars, complete with her blood type and phone number.
Because I've been trying, and my husband's been trying to get a donor, and we're just so, we want someone to be a donor. Sometimes you get down, but you can't, and I know there's someone out there.
A picture of Storm's husband's car was posted on Facebook and quickly went viral. Since then, they've gotten calls from as far away as Florida. New this morning, veterans exposed to contaminated drinking water while assigned to Camp Lejeune can now receive government disability benefits totaling more than $2 billion. For 30 years, fuel and dry cleaning chemicals seeped into the primary water system there, affecting more than 900,000 service members and their families.
We could have been screened for some of these conditions and probably prevented them.
At least 8 diseases have been linked to the contamination. New this morning, a 13-month investigation by the Department of Justice reveals Chicago police engage in a pattern of excessive force. Attorney General Loretta Lynch says the report shows that Chicago's minority communities are the most affected. Lynch says much of the blame is on actually the institution rather than the officers themselves. Family members of victims of police violence say the report isn't surprising.
So we weren't shocked at all when we heard the disturbing news of the excessive use of force, the racial profiling, the negative stereotypes and lewd language used towards young black and brown people.
The investigation was launched after the shooting death of a 17-year-old there. A video shows that the person that was shot actually he was shot 16 times by a white officer. The mayor and other city leaders are working to fix the problems. New this morning, graduating seniors in Dover, New Hampshire will do something a little different for this year's commencement. Dover High School students will all wear green gowns in an effort to make gender non-conforming students feel more comfortable. He says it's also to honor the school's mascot, the Green Wave, and introduce a theme of unity in the school. But not everyone is happy with the idea. A Change.org petition is calling for officials to keep the tradition of boys in green and girls in white, with the option for students to wear whatever color they want. President Obama will make his 18th appearance Sunday on 60 Minutes. The president sits down and talks about his family and the upcoming move out of the White House. Take a listen.
How do they feel? They're ready to go. I mean, the girls, obviously, they are now of an age in which the constraints of Secret Service and bubbles and all that stuff has gotten pretty old. Michelle never fully took to the scrutiny. I mean, she's thrived as a first lady, but it's not her preference. And so She was the hardest sell. She was the hardest sell, and she never fully embraced being in the public spotlight, which is ironic given how good she is. Having said that, she would acknowledge, and I certainly feel, that we just have a lot of memories here.
That was Steve Kroft with President Obama's final 60 Minutes interview. You can catch it right here Sunday, 6 o'clock on CBS 42. All right, your time right now, it is 6:19. 2 controversial figures set to speak at a California college are blocked. Still ahead, the protests erupting overnight at UC Davis. You're watching CBS 42 Morning News, a live look over Birmingham. A beautiful shot there, right? We'll be right back.
Paolo shined the magic telescope towards Jonathan and Davis.
The circus is for ladies, gentlemen, and boys and girls of all ages.
The magic telescope chose Jonathan.
It's for the whole family.
For him, the future was very bright.
But for these kids' parents, it's like looking into the past.
It's just so surreal because my son's 11, his daughter's 6. He told me, he said, you know, I started when I was 6. I said, it's funny, I started when I was 11.
Not only is Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey Circus for families, it is families. Matthew and Adriana are the children of Jonathan Lee Iverson and Davis Vassallo.
And I'm thinking, man, oh, this is a wonderful adventure for them. But lo and behold, we didn't know they were going to actually be that good.
The first time I saw my daughter, I was a little bit worried because I was thinking, she's really shy. But once she gets in the ring, she just changed. She just became me when I was young. Now she's a pro. I mean, now she came to me and she said, Papa, I saw you work. Why you didn't do that? Why you did so? Now she's giving me notes of what I'm doing wrong.
After you see the young ringmaster and Minnie Vassallo, you'll see another family that takes their adventure up a notch. Inside this globe of steel, it starts with 3 bikes, and then they make their way all the way up to 8 bikes inside, riding around all at once. The Torres family got their start in motocross, but once they saw this famous globe, they knew it was for them. Now they take this performance all over the country with their new circus family.
Circus is, you know, it's a family business, and it's presented by families to families. So I think we've taken for granted how much our children just absorb. I had no idea that my son actually watched everything I did because I just didn't think he did. And when I got out there and saw him, it was like mini-me. It blew me away.
All of these families have a long tradition of making your family happy. They continue that tradition, taking you out of this world January 19th through the 22nd at the BJCC. In Chicago, Lillian Lalo, CBS 42 Community.
The preceding portion of the CBS 42 Morning News was sponsored by Ringling Brothers and Barnum and Bailey. You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Welcome back, everyone. And I know that people that have maybe gotten up, you've, run to get the mail, you've walked the dog, you've felt the temperatures pretty nice. You might even be able to walk out in some flip-flops, a light coat.
Yeah,
hey,
for sure.
I'll take it.
Remember last weekend? Couldn't do that. This weekend, absolutely. Live look outside. Good morning to you. Isn't that beautiful? Tuscaloosa, sun up.
Screenshot that.
Yeah, we'll screenshot it and tweet it and get it out there so you maybe don't have to walk outside. You just want to kick back, relax. It's all about location. The visibility right now, T-Town 3 miles, but up the road, Jasper, you can't hardly see in front of you. So dense fog advisory in place for good reason. Many locations, the visibility is at 1 mile or less. So we're going to keep that dense fog advisory in place through 9 o'clock this morning. A live look outside with our Birmingham Tower cams. Sun up at 6:52. Here's a more detailed look at the counties underneath the dense fog advisory through 9 o'clock this morning. So low beam headlights, extra drive time, you're going to need it for sure. Temperatures starting out pretty mild for this time of year. Our average low 34, so well above the mark in Birmingham at 52. 51, good morning to you. Double Springs 49 right now in T-Town, also 49 in Talladega. Temperatures get right back into the upper 50s, low to mid 60s between 8 and 10 this morning with a mix of clouds and sun. Not done climbing. Yesterday we topped out at 78, broke a record high at Birmingham Shuttlesworth International. Today we're going to make a run for 72 to 73 degrees. Not a record, but still way above average. Okay, what a mess. Smack dab in the middle of the country. Ice storm warnings from St. Louis back into parts of the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma. On the northern fringe, winter storm warnings in place. So if you have travel plans, check ahead before you check in, especially if you're expecting someone, let's say from Chicago into Birmingham this morning. All right, rain chances are back Tuesday through next Thursday with high temperatures well above average in the 60s and 70s. Alex?
Woo, love the way that looks. Thanks so much, Michael. We love those warmer temperatures, don't we? All right, your time right now. It is 6:27 and Inauguration Day. As we all know, it's all about the transfer of power. So What's President Obama's role in all of this? You're probably wondering, right? Well, coming up, what's on the schedule for the President and First Lady next Friday? We're going to let you know right here on CBS 42 Morning News. Another look at that beautiful view over Birmingham as we wake you up on this Saturday morning. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Good morning, Birmingham, Tuscaloosa, Anniston, and all of Central Alabama. You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Good morning, everyone. Thanks so much for waking up with us here on CBS 42 Morning News Weekend. Michael?
Yeah.
What's up?
What's up?
We have a
The
half
weather.
hour left.
Hey, a lot better. 1/2 hour left. That's right. So let me get you through the forecast, maybe up and out of the door this morning. Or not. Hey, it's your choice. Live look across the Magic City. Sun up at 6:51. We've got some high clouds. It's going to be a beautiful sunrise here in the metro area, but some areas are socked in with the clouds. Visibility and or fog, lack thereof visibility, I should say. Coleman reporting 0-mile visibility right now. A mile visibility, Double Springs. It's better across the metro area in Jefferson County. Most of it, I should say. So low beam headlights, take your time as you make your way out the door, onto the roads, low beam headlights. This dense fog advisory through 9 o'clock this morning. Temperatures starting out in the 40s and 50s. Our average low for this time of year, 34. It is colder just to the north. Check out Nashville, 48 degrees. Compare that to our 52 here in Birmingham. So an area of low pressure throwing up moisture out of the Gulf, and it's interacting with this cold Arctic air. 8 below Bismarck, 8 above Minneapolis. There is a big winter storm smack dab in the middle of the country. Ice on the southern fringe, snow on the northern fringe. So if you have travel plans today, check ahead before you check in. High temperatures back into the low and mid 70s with a mix of sun and clouds. Alex?
All right, thanks, Michael. Developing now, the Talladega College marching tornadoes are heading to perform in President-elect Donald Trump's inauguration parade next week, leading to plenty of backlash, though. College president Dr. Billy Hawkins says it isn't about politics. It's about a once-in-a-lifetime chance for his school and his students. Now, the band has raised more than $330,000 to fund their trip to D.C., and Dr. Hawkins hopes the support will translate into federal help from Trump's administration for historically black colleges and universities around the country.
Higher education has suffered over the past 8 years. And when you look at funding to HBCUs, it has not happened over the last 8 years. And so some things have got to change.
Well, Dr. Hawkins says presidents at other HBCUs are putting a plan together to address the need for funding from a Trump administration. Right now, a leading Democratic congressman is questioning Donald Trump's presidency as Republicans work to undo the signature legislation of President Obama. Craig Boswell has the latest from Capitol Hill.
Congressman and civil rights icon John Lewis of Georgia has made the strongest public statement yet against President-elect Donald Trump in an interview with NBC.
I don't see this president-elect as a legitimate president.
Congressman Lewis blamed Russia for influencing the election. Lewis says he's skipping the inauguration next Friday. At least 7 other Democrats aren't going either.
I will be at home in Arizona.
Republicans in Congress made their first move to dismantle President Obama's signature achievement, the Affordable Care Act.
The House passed a budget resolution by a near party line vote. It allows for Republican-led committees to begin work on legislation to repeal parts of Obamacare and to do so without the help of Democrats.
If you mess with the ACA, it directly impacts Medicare.
This is a critical first step toward delivering relief to Americans who are struggling under this law.
Mr. Trump tweeted earlier Friday, the Unaffordable Care Act will soon be history. President-elect Trump is expected to be in Washington on Monday, where preparations for the inauguration are underway. Craig Boswell, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
New this morning, President Obama's Inauguration Day schedule is now revealed. We know that before he officially leaves office, the president and first lady will host a small reception for Donald Trump and his wife, Melania. The couples will motorcade to the U.S. Capitol for Trump's swearing in and inauguration address. The Obamas will then fly to Andrews Air Force Base and say goodbye to their staff. They'll board the presidential aircraft for the final time afterwards. As we mentioned, lawmakers on Capitol Hill continue their push to repeal the Affordable Care Act. We spoke with 2 healthcare experts at UAB to find out what that means for you. Both experts say if the ACA is repealed, that doesn't mean you'll potentially lose insurance coverage overnight. Lawmakers are said to be trying to come up with a replacement that will likely include some parts of the Affordable Care Act. Those include remaining on parents' coverage until age 26, also coverage even with pre-existing conditions, and also keeping coverage you may have gotten through the Affordable Care Act. All those are likely perks that lawmakers will keep if the Affordable Care Act is repealed. There is still concern about what a repeal would mean for assistance paying for insurance.
The repeal and delay strategy is much more likely to occur, and I think that might open up this division between what he promised throughout his campaign, which are a lot of things about maintaining access to health insurance coverage and controlling cost, and he'll realize the challenges of doing those things. So I think the gauntlet that President Obama's thrown down, that if you can come up with a strategy that covers more people at lower cost, I'll support it, right? That's his statement of, hey, this isn't as easy as it looks.
Here's something else both of the experts we spoke with told us. They said we are not likely going to see any sort of change right away. Well, right now, some Blue Cross Blue Shield customers using CVS may have to find a new pharmacy to get prescriptions filled. Around 400,000 customers will be affected by changes to certain Blue Cross Blue Shield of Alabama and CVS plans. The changes affect small businesses and those who have insurance under the Affordable Care Act. A Blue Cross Blue Shield spokesperson says affected customers were notified about the change back in November. There are around 66,000 customers in Alabama currently attorney transitioning to a new pharmacy. Corbett Chandler used CVS for his prescriptions for more than 10 years, but is now moving to Homewood Pharmacy. Take a
It made sense to start looking elsewhere and seeing what the options were. And so I could go with another big brand, or I could look at going with someone local, and that's what my family decided to do.
A CVS spokesperson says they're still accepting all commercial plans offered by BCBS, Alabama. A Blue Cross statement says the new pharmacy networks affected were made to offset the continuous rise in prescription drug costs and to provide their customers the best medication for the price. New this morning, speeches by far-right commentator Milo Yiannopoulos and also former pharmaceutical executive Martin Shkreli are canceled after heated protests. University of California Davis police put up barricades as protesters shouted, "Shut it down," repeatedly. Campus police say there was no violence or property destruction and no one was arrested, but the rowdy atmosphere led the UC Davis College Republicans to cancel the event.
If a single student was hurt in this event, it would not have been worth it.
At the same time, it's got to be pretty disappointing.
None of us are done with this.
Yiannopoulos writes for Breitbart News and is permanently banned from Twitter after leading a harassment campaign against Ghostbusters actress Leslie Jones. He claimed on his Facebook the event was canceled after violence from left-wing protesters. Birmingham police are also looking for help to identify a man suspected in a robbery. We're transitioning now to this story. Take a very close look at this video here. The robbery happened on January 6th around 7 p.m. at the Shell gas station on Pinson Valley Parkway. Police say the robber wore the same clothing while robbing a Circle K Marathon gas station, also on Pinson Valley Parkway on January 10th. That was around 1 in the morning. Now, if you know the identity of the person that you just saw there in that video, or you know anything about this case, you were asked to call Birmingham Police or Crime Stoppers as soon as possible. Their number is 254-7777. Your time right now, it's 6:39. It's a new year, which means a new focus on your health. Coming up, the tips you should know and the award you could win from the American Heart Association. Hey, Michael.
Hey there, Alex. Check out this. Sunrise in about 12 minutes. We've got some fog in some spots and a good-looking start in others. My forecast straight ahead.
Yes. Sure. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Thank you.
You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Good Saturday morning to you, Central Alabama. A live look with our tower cam. We've got it pointed off to the east. Sun up in about 10 minutes, give or take. And it's really about location, location, location this morning, if you can see the sunrise or not, because we've got some pretty dense fog in spots. Case in point, Gadsden, over to Cleveland, Coleman, Double Springs, Jasper, visibility at or below 1 mile. In the Birmingham metro area, we've got about a 9-mile visibility. So with that being said, dense fog advisory in place for the county, shaded in gray through 9 o'clock this morning, and then plenty of sunshine as we head into the second part of the morning into the afternoon. Temperatures starting off in the 40s and 50s. 52, good morning to you, Birmingham. It's 49 in Fayette, 49 right now in T-Town. Okay, if you have travel plans, heads up. I just checked our flight tracker at WIAT.com underneath the weather section. Inbound flights from D.C. already delayed this morning into Birmingham because of this winter storm. It spells trouble. Ice on the southern fringe, snow on the northern fringe. So travel plans, check ahead before you check in or before you dart off to the airport to pick up someone today. All right, temperatures into the 60s by 10 o'clock this morning. Not done climbing, up into the low, maybe mid-70s later on this afternoon. We're going to keep those temperatures nice and warm over the next 7 days. Rain's back in the forecast Tuesday through next Friday. Alex.
All right, Michael, thank you so much. We're almost halfway through the first month of the new year. So I have a question for you. How are your resolutions going? Well, if they're going well, you could get an award. And we were talking all about this award. It's specifically called the Lifestyle Change Award. So let's talk about what it is you guys are doing and about this Lifestyle Change Award, because it's a great way for people to get involved and obviously make sure that they're on top of their heart health, which is so important.
Yes, absolutely. Well, the American Heart Association research has shown that 80% of heart disease and stroke are preventable through lifestyle change. So these are simple things like changing your diet, getting more exercise, maintaining your weight, reducing smoking, lowering blood pressure, cholesterol, and blood sugar levels. So what the American Heart Association here in Central Alabama wanted to do is recognize people for the efforts that they are doing to improve their heart health and inspire others to make the change as well. So that's why we instituted the Lifestyle Change Award.
And you said this is the first year that you guys have done this.
Yes.
And it's been successful.
It's been very successful. So this program runs through the Birmingham Heart Walk Initiative, and it is presented by New Balance Birmingham. And we are so honored that New Balance is going to give a $50 gift certificate to each winner of the Lifestyle Change Award. And then they will also be recognized at the Birmingham Heart Walk this year. So it's a really fun opportunity to celebrate those achievements that people are making towards better heart health.
More of an incentive for people to get out and walk or run, whatever your preference is, right?
Yes, absolutely.
So obviously we are approaching Heart Awareness Month, which is in February. I can't believe it's already almost here.
Right?
This year's flying.
I know, it really is. But we are so excited because our biggest day of awareness is coming up on Friday, February 3rd. It's National Wear Red Day. We're encouraging everyone to wear red to really show people that heart disease is the #1 killer of Americans and Alabamians. We lose over 12,600 Alabamians each year to heart disease alone. It accounts for 30% of all deaths here in the state. So really that awareness is key in ensuring that people are recognizing their heart health symptoms.
Absolutely. It's so important, and sometimes it's something that doesn't really go, it goes without obviously saying that people need to make sure they take care of their heart health, but a lot of times people forget about that, right?
Yes.
And we don't want to forget about things and put it off until it's too late. So
absolutely. And so, we recognize that heart disease is really the silent killer. Very often you don't get symptoms before you have an episode. So that's why things like the lifestyle change are so critical in ensuring that you're taking care of yourself year-round and really improving your heart health so that you can be around for life's great moments.
Absolutely. Yeah. Well, I will be wearing red February 3rd. Danielle with the American Heart Association, thank you so much for being here.
You, Alex.
We love when you stop by.
Oh, well, we always appreciate you and CBS42, so thank you for all you do to raise awareness.
Of course. All right, everyone, don't touch that dial. We'll be right back with much more right after the break.
You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Hey everyone, welcome back. Okay, 10 minutes left here on CBS 42 Morning News. So let's get a check on your weekend forecast. Much warmer today, Michael. It was a pleasant surprise.
Yes, and look at this. We've got a beautiful sunrise about to happen. 2 minutes, sun up, make that 1 minute, 6:51. All right, so good looking start. Across the metro area, some areas not so nice. We've got fog and pretty dense fog. Double Springs, Hamilton, Jasper, Coleman, over to Gadsden. We're talking visibility down to less than a mile. Even T-Town reporting 1 mile visibility. So with that being said, dense fog advisory will continue through 9 o'clock this morning for the areas outlined in gray. Low beam headlights, give yourself some extra drive time early this morning. Temperatures, hey, we'll take it. Average low for this time of year right around 34. Birmingham checking in at 52. 48 right now in Tuscaloosa and Talladega. Good morning to you, Clanton. 47 along with Coleman. We're going to continue to climb out of the 40s and 50s back into the 70s later on this afternoon. The air mass is much colder just to the north. Check it out. 47 in Nashville, 30 in Oklahoma City, 40 in Little Rock. So an area of low pressure developing right here, moisture out of the Gulf, up and over this very cold air means a mess as far as travel goes. Ice storm across parts of Missouri and Kansas, the northern fringe, plenty of snow, so a winter storm warning for areas outlined in blue, and an ice storm warning stretching from the panhandles of Texas and Oklahoma back up into the Show Me State, including St. Louis. All right, let's walk through the forecast hour by hour together with our Storm Track Futurecast clouds and radar, along with the temperatures. The white and or gray is forecast cloud cover, so at 10 o'clock this morning, the clouds and the fog start to lift. What a beautiful spring-like afternoon as we climb to at least 74 in Birmingham. Yesterday it was a record high at the airport, a new record high of 78, so a balmy night underway. The messy weather stays well to our north. Temperatures into tomorrow morning back in the 50s. Tomorrow afternoon, how about the lower 70s? I give that 2 thumbs up. All right, here's a look at your hour-by-hour forecast. As we head through the afternoon, a mix of clouds and sun. We're going to keep it nice and balmy over the next really 7 days. Rain chances back Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, into next Friday. Afternoon high temperatures come down just a little bit. Low to mid 60s on Wednesday with overnight lows mainly in the 50s and lower 60s. Alex?
Thanks, Michael. Your time right now, it is 6:52. Stay with us because after the break, we have a look at your top stories that we've been covering throughout the morning right here on CBS 42. We'll be right back.
You're watching the CBS 42 Morning News.
Welcome back, everyone. Your time right now, it is 6:56, and here's a recap of all your top stories from this morning. The district attorney-elect of Jefferson County is facing a perjury charge. He was set to be sworn in next week, prompting his attorneys to call the timing suspect. Henderson is denying the charges. I-20 bingo opens again in Calhoun County. It took nearly a year for managers to secure a valid bingo permit. The hall will support the League for Animal Welfare as its charity to qualify for a permit. The Talladega College marching tornadoes continue to prepare for their trip to D.C. College president Dr. Billy Hawkins responded to backlash, saying it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the school. Meanwhile, President-elect Trump tweets his support for Republican efforts to repeal Obamacare. A budget resolution passed in the House allows Republican-led committees to work on legislation to repeal parts of the ACA. The Oakman Volunteer Fire Department continues to search for missing equipment after their station is ransacked. Oakman police say a suspect is in custody. If you know where any of these items could be, please call police. Birmingham police are looking for the person in this video. He's believed to be behind at least 2 gas station robberies on Pinson Valley Parkway. If you know who he is, please call police as soon as possible. And Montevallo police are looking for this woman you see here. They believe she stole a truck with a 3-year-old boy inside. Police found the truck and boy unharmed just minutes later. Michael.
All right, let's talk about a beautiful sunrise across the Magic City. Here it is. The sun is up. Temperature is pretty mild for this time of year, this time of morning. Mainly in the 50s, a few areas in the upper 40s, and some patchy fog, pretty dense in spots. Dense fog advisory through 9 o'clock for most of central Alabama. The fog will lift, temperatures climb into the low to mid 70s. We're going to keep this warm, balmy weather around really over the next 7 days. Rain chances back Tuesday through next Friday with high temperatures at that point back in the 60s. Overnight lows mainly in the mid to upper 50s.
Yes, love those warmer temperatures. Thank you, Michael.
Oh, you're welcome.
All right, everyone, we will see you tomorrow morning starting at 5 a.m. Take care.